Go down to Kentucky. My father was a slave. White Republican makes startling declaration at NAACP event. A white Republican legislator who's seeking to ban diversity programs in Kentucky schools told a mostly black audience that her father had been a slave. State Rep Jennifer Decker, Republican, I guess Waddy is the county, who sponsored a bill to eliminate educational opportunities and programs based on race, went before the Shelbyville area NAACP a week and a half ago, made a startling claim during a question and answer session when someone asked if her family had played a role in the slave trade. She was like, they asked her if your family was played a role in the slave trade. She was like, "Oh, you think you got me with a gotcha question, but I'm about to get you motherfuckers. Bitch, my daddy was a slave." She said, "My father was born on a dirt farm in Lincoln County." Said Decker, a 68-year-old attorney. His mother was the illegitimate daughter of a very prominent person who then was kind enough to allow them to work for him as slaves. What? It's cheap labor, maybe, but not slaves. So if you're asking, did we own slaves? My father was a slave, goddammit, just to a white man, and he was white. Equality. You want to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion? No one talks about the white slaves. Why doesn't anybody talk about that? All right, where was we at? Decker's father was a white preacher born sometime around 1933, which was 68 years after the 13th Amendment ended slavery. It was a moment that, in many ways, proved how badly diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, this year's chosen boogeyman of Kentucky's right-wing politicians, are needed in Kentucky schools, wrote columnist Joseph Girth. Yeah, man, I mean, she kind of walked right into that. She kind of walked right into that one, did she not? Let's see, where we at? We got such diversity programs weren't around when Decker was in school, Girth added. If they had been, she might have learned that few white people in America, short of those who had been trafficked for sex, should ever claim something like that. It's deeply offensive to those who are descendants of actual slaves to hear a white person claim that they are a descendant of a slave. I mean, honestly, that shit don't hurt my feelings. Who cares? It's just funny. It's just funny. It's not offensive to me. I'm too young to be offended by some shit like that. But it's just stupid. Okay, I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I'm aghast and taken aback. It's just funny. The columnist asked Decker to clarify her comments on slavery, but she kept repeating the word irrelevant, which Girth said only confused him more. So, irrelevant! What I said doesn't matter. Well, it's not irrelevant, Decker said. No, it's not irrelevant what slavery is, but it's shifting the focus from what we're talking about. Even though I'm the one who made the statement. All right, let's see. Well, my father was born into poverty. He probably was. Shit, he probably was born into poverty. 1933 in Kentucky, the middle of the Depression, the Dust Bowl, the Dust Bowl got going and everything. He probably was born poor as hell. Don't doubt you there. But again, it's the whole argument because we got to get rid of diversity programs. There was a very influential man who allowed them property and then they worked on it. Was I saying that it was kidnapping and abuse the same as slaves? No. He was a child and his family all worked there. I think she realized she had to have realized that like right after she said that it was like, oh, that was dumb. I probably shouldn't have made that comment. But no, it's just funny.